You must understand where we are. We are in the worshipping area. So what you're doing in the worshipping area, you sacrifice animal. So when you sacrifice the animal, you must to skin the animal. The animal must to be skinned. And then you take part of the animal on the altar, not all the animal on the altar. And how you skin animal? If you some of you was a farm or some place hunting or doing that, how you skin the animal? Which way? Which way skin the animal? Hanging the animal first, and then you took the skin out. So what we have here, this is the base to build a tripod, wooden tripod for what? For to hang the animal, skin the animal, and then prepare that animal to put them on the altar. But you can see it's small place, small area, but it's every room have its meaning. And if you look, if you take in Genesis 28, it's the same what we have here in this place. So Genesis 28 connected to Jacob. But here we are in Jerusalem. So who was in Jerusalem? Melchizedek. So may Jacob learn from Melchizedek which way to worshiping God. We don't know. The Bible don't talk about that too much. But we have two stories, but we have the finding going back to the story of Jacob, one by one, and we are in Jerusalem. So how we date that place, we found here a layer of ceramic that take us to the Middle Bronze period, the time of Abraham. The end of this area was in the end of the 8th century BC. What's happened? King Hezekiah said no more area, all going to temple that King Solomon built. So what I found here, I found the floor empty. Some small pieces of ceramic. In this cave, I found a lot of what they did. They cleaned the room and they're pushing all the dirt and all the ceramic, all the pieces of the pottery, the jar and everything inside to this cave. And they close it with wall. It's very, very interesting. And then they build here a wall going all the way from one side to the other side, and they cover all this area with the stone. That's it. We bury this area. No more worshiping here, but no one touched the stone. Why no one touched the stone? Because this is the house of God. You cannot destroy the house of God. So they cover it with dirt, they keep it as it is, till I found it in 2010.
When this was covered, how did you get to that point? I see what you got to here. Was it obvious that you were you're going to find something back there?
No, look.
Or was it just the...
No. What you're doing, you started from the roof and going down. When I started from the roof to going down, what I saw in my face, I saw a wall that closed this room. Why? Because they clean all the room and put everything inside. Why? Because they cannot throw it away. They keep it in the place. Why they keep it in the place? Because this is holy place.
Where is this? Where are the pottery and things that were back there now?
It's antiquity authority. This pottery is from the 8th century, and the other pottery that connected to this area is from the Middle Bronze period. It's talking about the time of Abraham Melchizedek. So you can see that when they started, when they end, and in the end, because King Hezekiah said no more worshiping area, but they didn't destroy, they buried the place. Why? Because you cannot destroy the house of God. You need to bury him, protect him forever. And this is what's happened in 2010 when I found that, because I don't know what I'm going to find, and I found what I found, and this is very, very interesting, very, very interesting to see where we are, because that complex is very small complex. That complex is very, very close to the spring, to the water. Wherever you need, you are close to the water. Wherever the people came to the water, can go to the temple, to the house of God. And what the beginning of the monotheism look like? This is, I say all the time, that what is, we today we have a lot around us, but in the time of Abraham, Melchizedek, Jacob, Isaac, what it was look like. It wasn't million by million people believing God. There's a couple thousand plus, I don't know, believing God. So which way they believing God? Which way they worshiping God? And this is the beginning. And this is what I'm saying all the time, People a little bit forget the book of Genesis. But here, the book of Genesis came alive. This is what we've seen here in that places.
Eli, has anyone ever found another standing stone in Jerusalem?
No. No standing stone in Jerusalem.
This is the only one.
This is the only one. This is the only one that you can date it. This is the only one that someone buried to keep it, to protect it.
And is this temple facing the right way for a temple?
The right way, because you're walking from the east, going inside to the west, and the west is the olive of the oil. The standing stone always in the west, and the olive of the oil in the temple is always in the west, and the olive of the oil in Arad, it's always in the west. And when we're talking about the way of where is the olive of the oil, where is the stone, it's the same like all over the places that believe in one God in the heaven, worshiping God in the heaven.
You remember yesterday in the Israel Museum we saw the standing stones at Arad, and he was holding his hands up to the sun. Notice there's no inscription on there. Why is there no inscription, Eli?
Because you must understand that, and we saw also in Chatzor, the end, and
right.
When talking about what God created, you don't want any title on what He created. You want it as it is, pure, not starting to make, because when you started to make, it's not what God created, it's what you did, and what you wanted, what God wanted to connect with Him, what He created, not what you're doing. And this is just a flat stone. Nothing happened. You can see nothing, just flat stone. It's like 1 inch, 2 inch wide, standing, and the stone around that to keep it in the place. That's it. They can also dug like they did here. They make some foundation, put it all inside. They don't need the stone around it. No, the standing stone, it's when you put it on the floor and you are protected by other stone that you put around that.
Eli?
Yes, please.
Is there any chance that stone is from Genesis?
This is what we are saying.
No, he's talking about the one that
This is what we are saying.
No, I mean the one right there.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
He's wondering if that's the one that Jacob stood up. Jacob wasn't here.
Look, maybe Jacob was here, but this is not the stone of Jacob. Because we are talking about Jerusalem. So we talk about the Middle Bronze period. At that time, who was the king of Jerusalem?
Melchizedek.
So we are in Jerusalem. So if Melchizedek was the king of Jerusalem, so he was the high priest in Jerusalem, so where are you worshiping God?
Here.
So here the temple is zero. This is the beginning of worshiping God. This is what they are doing. Stone, I noted the stones, sacrifice animals, doing that worshiping, believing God, pray to God, doing all that kind of thing, very close to the water, to the spring. That's it.
Right.
Frank, can we talk about Hebrews chapter 7?
Go ahead. Sure.
Verses 1 through 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
My contacts are messing up on me, but for this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him. And to him Abraham apportioned a tenth part of everything. He is first, by translation of his name, king of righteousness. And then he is also king of Salem, that is, king of peace. He is without father or mother or genealogy. Having neither beginning of days nor the end of life, but resembling the Son of God, he continues a priest forever. Is it possible that Melchizedek was a foreshadow of Christ?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. But he was a real person. And Eli's probably discovered his temple. You realize that that stone's been standing there for 4,000 years? Based on the archaeology Eli's done, he found all the pottery here, which shows Middle Bronze period, Abraham's time.
Started in the Middle Bronze and in King
Hezekiah's
Hezekiah.
time.
Yeah.
And he's down to bedrock. Notice you can't go any lower than this. That stone right there is far more of a holy place, archaeologically we know, than what we were seeing yesterday at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, or the day before. You know, people are going in there and they're kissing stuff in there. We know, I think, and probably Eli would agree, archaeologically, we're more certain of this being a holy spot than that. Agree?
I follow you.
Not that that might not be the site. It might be the site. But the stones that they're touching there, this we know is a holy place, for sure.
I heard something cool one time, and it was that, so Melchizedek was the king of Jerusalem. That Melchizedek was the king of Jerusalem. The king's son is called a prince. And Melchizedek is called the king of peace. And his son then would be the Prince of Peace.
And Son of Righteousness.
And the Son of Righteousness.
It's a tapestry. Remember, it began thousands of years ago and culminated on Mount Moriah, right up the hill from here.
Melchizedek offered Abraham bread and wine.
Yeah.
Jesus, sitting at the Last Supper, offered bread and wine.
All fits together. Now, guess what? If you don't come with Eli, you don't get this.
No.
Thank you, Eli.